Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Let's wait for about 2 or 3 minutes. Let everyone join in and then we proceed. All right. All right, let everyone join in. Let's wait for 2 or 3 minutes. Let's wait for 2 or 3 minutes and then we start off. All right. Let's wait for about 2 more minutes. Let's wait for another minute and then we start. All right, welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform that provides to you a world of courses, resources, content, live and recorded sessions to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and the intermediate examinations. Also, welcome to Crack CA Exams with us, which is a vertical and channel of Unacademy that caters to the students of CA Foundation and intermediate in their journey and pursuit of preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate Examination by providing top educators, quality content, and overall a great learning experience. So come, let's crack CA exams with Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Welcome to the session once again. Before we proceed, a brief introduction about the educator today. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I am a Bachelor of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore University. I am an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also a law graduate from Karnataka State Law University. I am currently a practicing chartered accountant and a visiting faculty for CA subjects and an educator for CA students both offline and online. Prior to starting on my own, I worked with S.R. Bartley Boy and Associates, that is the Indian member firm of Ernst & Young Global, in the Audit and Assurance Department. Then I went on to work with Ernst & Young India in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department. And then I finally went on to work with the Manipal Group in Bangalore as the corporate controller of the Indian entity, as well as the German subsidiary located in Frankfurt, Germany. It was only after I got back from Frankfurt, Germany that I decided to start something on my own. And that also gave me the opportunity to become an educator, which in turn has given me this opportunity today to take this session for you young and bright CA aspirants. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope you find my session useful. Anytime during the session, in case you have any questions, queries, observations, or discussions to be made, please do not hesitate to drop in a line, and I will take up the matter for problem solving or for discussion purposes as soon as I can. I would also like to draw your attention to my name, which is Prathik Gupta, P-R-A-T-H-I-K-G-U-P-T-A. Now, why I'm stressing on the spelling of the name is as a lot of people misspell my name, because of which they are unable to find my many sessions on the YouTube channel of Unacademy, as well as the special classes on the Unacademy Learning app. So P-R-A-T-H-I-K Gupta, G-U-P-T-A. You can look me up with this name on the YouTube channel of Unacademy too, and the Unacademy Learning app to find my hundreds of hours of YouTube sessions, as well as special classes that I've conducted on the Unacademy platform, which will help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. All right. Now, like I told you, Unacademy caters to you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination through 3 platforms. That is YouTube, Special Class, and the Plus platform. Now, YouTube and Special Class are absolutely free of cost, but they provide an enormous amount of value and resources to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and the Intermediate examinations. YouTube is what you're going through right now, and more so, you can just go and look for Prathik Gupta, P-R-A-T-H-I-K-G-U-P-T, and you'll find all the many hours that I've taken on YouTube, which can be used for your benefit in the preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. The special classes are classes that are conducted on the Unacademy Learning app. They are also absolutely free of cost, but they provide you an enormous amount of resources to help you in the preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. Plus course, the Plus platform of Unacademy is the premium platform of Unacademy, which is a payment-based subscription model, which provides various subscription packages for the various examinations. More about the packages in the following slide, but in this slide I will tell you why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. The first reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible is because of the daily live classes it conducts, where you get to chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls. All this while the class is going on. Yes, you heard it right. All this while the class is going on. You don't need to wait for the end of the class. You do not need to wait for a couple of hours after the class. You do not need to wait for a couple of days after the class. Neither do you need to wait for the weekend after the class. Or you do not need to wait to fix up an appointment with your educator. You can clear your doubts and have discussions with the educator right then and there on a real-time basis when your class is going on. It is as simple as you lifting your hand up in a live classroom, and your educator will be happy to take up your questions and queries for discussion. The second reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the live quizzes and tests that it conducts on a regular and periodic basis to evaluate your preparation and also get a detailed analysis of your performance. Now, you might wonder, why is this evaluation of preparation and detailed analysis of your performance important? So let me tell you that when you're preparing for a professional examination, it is very important for you to take a stock of your preparation from time to time to know how well prepared you are and where do you stand in terms of your preparation. and also to know which areas you're well prepared, which areas you need to prepare more, and which areas you might require external help. So basically, the Plus platform of Unacademy helps to break down your preparation into 3 areas: your strong areas, your not so strong areas, and your weak areas, so that whatever limited preparation time you have, you can use that time on those 3 areas accordingly. In the sense, more time on your weak areas, a little lesser time on your not so strong areas, and less time on your strong areas, until a time when your weak areas and your not so strong areas eventually become your strong areas. Thereby, the Plus platform of Unacademy ensures minimum wastage of your valuable time and maximum utilization of your limited preparation time. Third reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the structured courses it provides. As all our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it, which simply means all the Plus courses prepared on the Plus platform of Unacademy are prepared keeping in mind your exam syllabus, so that once you complete the Plus course on the Plus platform of Unacademy, you can rest assured that you have completed the syllabus of your examination without missing out on any important or major point. And lastly, and most importantly, why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the unlimited access that it provides to you. That is, the one subscription gets you access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices, which simply means the one subscription to the Plus platform of Unacademy gets you access to all the live and recorded courses on the Unacademy platform. That is, all your live and recorded Plus courses, all your live and recorded special classes. And all these live and recorded courses you can watch from the comfort of any of your devices, which means you can view them from your mobile phone, tablet, laptop, or desktop, as the case may be, without any restrictions. There is also no timing restrictions like 10 to 4, 10 to 5, 10 to 6. There's nothing like that. Whenever you want, you can just pull out your mobile phone, log into the Unacademy Learning app, and start your preparation. Also, you can view all these live and recorded courses from any location, be it when you're at home, when you're in college, when you're in office, when you're traveling from home to college or office office to home, or you're waiting for someone for a meeting, or you're in your native place, or you're on a vacation and you want to prepare. You can just pull out your mobile phone, log into the Unacademy Learning app, and start your preparations without any hesitation. All you require is an internet connection or data plan, which all of us are blessed with today. So keeping all these advantages among many other advantages in mind, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and intermediate examinations. Please take about 30 seconds, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Please take about 30 seconds more. All right. Now, in the previous slide, you heard me say live and recorded special classes, live and recorded plus courses. So you must be wondering, where are those live and recorded sessions available? Now, please note, these are available on the app known as the Unacademy Learning app. So for all of you who have downloaded the Unacademy Learning app and are using it, I thank you very much, and I request your support in the future as well. And for those of you who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to go to the Play Store on your mobile phone, download the Unacademy Learning app, install it on your phones, put in your mobile number where you will get an OTP, and using that OTP you can register on the Unacademy Learning app. It is as simple as this with no lengthy or complicated procedures. So now you might ask me, okay, I have downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, installed the Unacademy Learning app, registered on it using the mobile number and OTP, so what next? So let me tell you that the Unacademy Learning app gives you access to all the live and recorded special classes that Unacademy has to offer to you in order to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. And it also gives you access to all the live and recorded plus courses that Unacademy has to offer to you in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. So keeping these points in mind, I request you to download the Unacademy Learning app, install it on your phones, use your mobile number and the OTP sent on it to register on it so that you can make use of the innumerable amount of resources that are available on the Unacademy Learning app. I also request you to spread the word around to help the people around you know about the Unacademy Learning app so that they too, they can help them download and install the Unacademy Learning app on their phones, help them register on it using their mobile numbers and OTP so that they too can make use of the enormous amount of resources that Unacademy provides for their preparations. Alright, please take about 30 seconds and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Okay, take about 30 more seconds and then we proceed. All right. Now, let's come to this important slide. Like I told you, the Plus platform of Unacademy is the premium platform of Unacademy, which is a payment-based subscription model and which provides various subscription packages for the various examinations. So accordingly, the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription packages provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy are as follows. The packages provided are for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months and 24 months. The 1 month package costs you rupees 3,500. The 3 month package costs you rupees 8750. The 6 months package costs you about 14,000 rupees. And the 12 months package costs you about 17,500. And the 24 months package costs you about 21,000 rupees. Now please remember, all these are the listed price of the packages. So before you make the payment for the package of your choice, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. I repeat, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. So the after discount price of the various packages are as follows. The 1 month package will cost you rupees 3,150. The 3 month package will cost you rupees 7,875. The 6 months package will cost you rupees 12,600. The 12 months package will cost you rupees 15,750. And the 24 months package will cost you rupees 18,900. So you see, immediately you get a discount or savings of 10% when you use my code Prathik. Now I personally would recommend you to go for the 12 months and 24 months package in the beginning for the two reasons. Firstly, it is cost effective. If you compare the 1 month package cost with the per month cost of the 12 months and 24 months package, you will see that you're getting great cost savings almost immediately. And secondly, and most importantly, since the CA Foundation and Intermediate courses are provided to you in one package, that is your 12 months or the 24 months package, a 12 or 24 months package will be highly beneficial to you because it covers the duration of both your courses, that is the CA Foundation and the CA Intermediate, which normally take a minimum of about 12 months for you to prepare and clear. So if you're getting a package that is 12 months or 24 months that covers the duration of both your courses, that is CA Foundation and CA Intermediate, at a very cost-effective price, I think that is a very good deal. But having said this, you're free to choose the package of your choice. But before you make the payment for the package of your choice, please do not forget to use the code Prathik to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. You can also make use of the no-cost EMI options available for 6 months, 12 months and 24 months, just in case you do not wish to make the entire payment at one shot. The payment options available are internet banking, debit card and credit card. And also all the coins that you've accumulated by watching the special classes can be redeemed when you make the payment for the Plus course. So keeping these packages in mind, keeping these discount offers in mind, and also the advantages I told you a couple of slides before, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Alright, please take about a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask me. Alright, now like I told you, the Unacademy Learning app gives you access to all the live and recorded special classes. Here are the snapshots of few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning app, and those which you can make use of in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. There are special class on revision test papers, Sale of Goods Act, the Indian Contracts Act, the Companies Act, the Fundamentals of Accounting, revision on partnership account, retirement of partner, death of partner, admission of partner, valuation of inventories, revision on final accounts of non-manufacturing entities, a revision on sale of goods on approval and return basis, and many more sessions which are waiting to be used by you for your preparation. So please log on to the Unacademy Learning app, go to my profile Prathik Gupta, Prathikgupta, and start making use of all the resources that are there to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. Please take about 30 seconds, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, and Here are the links to few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning app. You can either click on these links or copy and paste these links on your browser to take you directly to the special class on the Unacademy Learning app. There are special classes on the Indian Contracts Act, the Sale of Goods Act, the Indian Partnership Act, the Limited Liability Partnership Act, the Companies Act 2013, Basics of Communication, Accounting Concepts, RTPs, and many more hundreds of hours of sessions that are there to be used by you. So please log into the Unacademy Learning app, go to my profile, Prathik Gupta, and start making use of all the hundreds of hours of sessions that are there that are going to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. All right, please take about 30 seconds, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, so let's start off with our discussion on Doctrine of Indoor Management, and this is a part of the Companies Act 2013, which is a part of your business law syllabus for the CA Foundation examination. All right, so let's start off. Doctrine of Constructive Notice and Knowledge. So please remember, before we get into the Doctrine of Indoor Management, you need to know another doctrine, which is the Doctrine of Constructive Notice. Now, why do you need to know it? Because the Doctrine of Indoor Management came into existence due to conflicts or arguments against the Doctrine of Constructive Notice. It came into existence to protect the people from this Doctrine of Constructive Notice. Okay. Now, what does the Doctrine of Constructive Notice say? Every outsider dealing with the company is deemed to have notice of the contents of the memorandum and articles of the association. These documents on registration with the registrar assume the character of public documents as per section 399 of the Companies Act. This is known as constructive notice of memorandums and articles. So basically, the memorandum and articles of association of a company are the charter documents or the basic documents of the company. And once the company is registered, the memorandum of association and the articles of association become public documents under section 399 of the Companies Act, which simply means any person dealing with the company can ask the company for a copy of their MOA and AOA, or can apply to the registrar of companies by paying a nominal fee for a copy of the AOA and MOA. And then every person dealing with the company, whether the customer, whether vendor or a banker or anyone, is deemed to have constructive notice of the memorandum and articles, which simply means that they are deemed to have read the contents of the memorandum and articles and should be well versed with it before they transact with the company. This is known as constructive notice. The memorandum and articles are open and accessible to all. It is the duty of every person dealing with a company to inspect these documents and see that it is within the powers of the company entered into the proposed contract. Okay, so like we also saw a concept known as doctrine of ultra vires, which means a company is allowed to perform only those activities which is allowed by its objective clause or object clause of the memorandum of association. If it performs any other activity which is beyond the object clause of the company, that activity is known as ultra vires. So any person who is dealing with the company needs to satisfy himself about the contents of the memorandum and articles of association and see that the proposed activity that the company is planning to carry out, is it really authorized to carry out that activity or not. All right, please take 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Please take a minute more, go through this. Any questions? You need to understand the doctrine of constructive notice, and only then will you understand the doctrine of indoor management. Okay, because it originated due to the flaws in the doctrine of constructive notice. Take about 30 seconds more. Any questions? Please ask me. Okay. Section 399 of the Companies Act provide the inspection, production and evidence of the documents kept by the registrar. It provides that the memorandum and articles, when registered with the registrar of companies, become public documents, and they can be inspected by anyone on payment of a nominal fee. Like I told you, you can pay about 50 rupees or 100 rupees to the ROC and inspect these documents. Okay. Therefore, any person who contemplates entering into a contract with the company has the means of ascertaining and is thus presumed to know the powers of the company, and has the means of ascertaining and is thus presumed to know the powers of the company and the extent to which they have been delegated to the directors. In other words, every person dealing with the company is presumed to have read these documents and understood them in true perspective. This is known as the doctrine of constructive notice. Now, just because these documents are public documents under Section 399 of the Companies Act, any person dealing with the company is presumed to have read these documents and is well versed with the contents of these documents, and later cannot claim ignorance. That no, I did not know the contents of the memorandum and the articles of association. Alright, please take 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute more. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Okay, next point. The Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association are two most important documents needed for registration and incorporation of a company. The Memorandum of Association of a company contains the fundamental conditions upon which alone the company has been incorporated. Okay, so like it is said here, the Memorandum of Association of the company is the utmost important document because it is the foundation based on which the company is incorporated. According to Section 256 of the Companies Act, defines the memorandum means the memorandum of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company law or this act. So basically, when the company is incorporated, that memorandum of association, or later on, if the company alters its memorandum of association to alter its various clauses, that will constitute the memorandum of association. According to Palmer, the memorandum of association is a document of great importance in relation to the proposed company. Okay, so as we all know that the memorandum of association is one of the most important documents in relation to incorporation of a company, simply because it contains all the important clauses. It contains 6 important clauses: name clause, domicile clause, object clause, liability clause, capital clause, and the subscription clause. It contains the objects of the company, objects for which the company is formed, and therefore identifies the possible scope of its operation beyond which its action cannot go. Okay, so based on one of the main objectives of the Memorandum of Association is it contains the objectives or the purposes for which the company is incorporated, and the company cannot go beyond those activities or objectives. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Please take a minute more. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, next one. The articles of association of a company are its bylaws or rules and regulations that govern the management of its internal affairs and the conduct of its business. According to Section 2(5) of the Companies Act 2013, articles mean the articles of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company's laws or of the present act. Okay, so basically, like the Memorandum of Association contains the important objectives and other external relationships of the company, articles of association is the bylaws or rules and regulations that govern the management of its internal affairs and conduct of its business. So all the internal rules and regulations of a company are contained in the articles of association. Okay, and the articles of association or the articles mean the articles of association of a company. Okay, both memorandum of association and articles of association are public documents according to Section 610 of the Act. These documents become public documents as soon as they get registered and can be accessible by any members of the public under the provisions of the Act. Okay, so like we spoke earlier, the Memorandum of Association and the Articles of Association are public documents under Section 399 of the Companies Act, and they can be inspected by anyone who wishes to obtain them and read them and go through them and know what the company is all about. Okay, and either they can ask the company for a copy or they can pay a nominal fee to the registrar and take that copies. The rule of constructive notice extends not merely to memorandum and articles but also to all such documents as are required to be registered with the registrar of companies. There is, however, no constructive notice of documents which are filed with the registrar of companies for the sake of record only. Okay, so basically, yeah, the memorandum and articles of association are public documents, and the whole doctrine of constructive notice also applies only to these. All right, please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Please take another minute. Okay, please take another minute. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, take another minute. Any questions, please ask me. Just okay, any questions, please ask me. We are still discussing the doctrine of constructive notice because the doctrine of indoor management originated from that. So you need to understand the doctrine of constructive notice first. Okay, the effect of doctrine of constructive notice is harsh to an outsider who does business with the company. An outsider who's dealt with a company is deemed to have constructive notice of the contents of the documents of the company. An outsider cannot claim relief on the ground that he was unaware of the powers of the company and in case ultra vires of the company. So according to the doctrine of ultra vires, if a person enters into a contract with the company and the company is not allowed to carry on that activity as per the memorandum of association of the company, then that contract becomes absolutely void ab initio, and the other person who has carried on business with the company cannot claim under such a contract. That is why it is said that the doctrine of constructive notice is kind of harsh on the person who is dealing with the company. The doctrine of constructive notice is more or less an unreal doctrine. It does not take notice of the realities of business life. People know a company through its officers and not through its documents. Okay, now it's all a PR. People build relationships. People know a company through its officers and not through their documents. The courts in India do not seem to have taken it seriously, though. For example, in Dehradun Mussoorie Electric Tramway Co. versus Jagmandar Das, the Allahabad High Court allowed an overdraft incurred by the managing agent of the company when, under the articles, the director had no power to delegate their borrowing powers. Alright, so basically the Companies Act or the courts look for documents as evidence and they rely on both the doctrine of constructive notice as well as the documents of a company. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions? Please ask. Any questions? Please ask. Please take another minute. Any questions? Please ask me. Any questions? Please ask. Any questions? Please ask me. Go through it carefully. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, take about 30 seconds more. Any questions, please ask. Okay, as criticisms of the doctrine of constructive notice, the new theory called the doctrine of indoor management has to be evolved by the court. So, like I told you, the doctrine of indoor management evolved due to the criticisms faced by the doctrine of constructive notice. The doctrine of constructive notice seeks to protect the company against the outsider. The other doctrine operates to protect the outsiders against the company. Okay, so the doctrine of notice protects the company from the outsiders, and the doctrine of indoor management protects the outsiders from the company. That is also important, okay? The rule of indoor management is based upon obvious reasons of convenience in business relationships. Firstly, the memorandum and articles of association are public documents, open to public documents, but the details of internal procedures are not thus open to public inspection. Hence, an outsider is presumed to know the constitution of a company, but not what may or may not have taken place within the doors that are close to him. Okay, so like it's very logical. A person can read the memorandum and find out that what the company is allowed to do, where is the company, what is the name of the company. But he is not given access to the internal documents of the company which talk about the various procedures and rules of the company being followed. Hence, he cannot be assumed to know those. That is why the doctrine of indoor management came into existence. Alright, please take about 2 minutes. Go through this. Any questions, please ask. Please take about 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Okay, any questions, please ask. Please take a minute more. Carefully go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, now let's talk about the effect of the doctrine of constructive liability or constructive knowledge. The effect of doctrine of constructive liability is harsh on the other party. That means the doctrine of constructive notice is harsh on the other party. It is therefore the duty of every person dealing with the company to inspect its public documents and make sure that his contract is in conformity with the provisions. The Madras High Court discussed the scope of the rule of constructive liability in Kota Venkataswamy versus Ramamurthy. The dispute in this case was whether the mortgage bond was validly executed as per the company's articles of association so as to make the company liable. Article 15 of the company's Articles of Association provided that all deeds, hundis, checks, certificates, and other instruments shall be signed by the managing director, the secretary, and the working director on behalf of the company, and shall be considered valid. In the instant case, the plaintiff accepted a deed of mortgage executed by the secretary and a working director only. The court held that the plaintiff could not claim under this deed. The court further observed that if plaintiff had consulted the articles, she would have discovered that a deed such as she took required execution by 3 specified officers of the company, and she would have refrained from accepting a deed inadequately signed. Therefore, therefore, she may have acted in good faith and her money may have been applied to the purposes of the company. The bond is nevertheless invalid. One of the effects of the rules of constructive liability is that a person dealing with the company is considered not only to have read these documents, but also to have understood them according to their proper meaning. He is presumed to have understood not merely the company's powers, but also those of its officers. So this was the harsh thing that the doctrine of constructive notice was bringing in, that the outsiders are expected to not only know the contents of the memorandum and articles, but also understand that language, the legal language, which is not clearly possible. Alright, so in the instant case, that was Kota Venkataswamy versus Ramurthy, there was the mortgage bond had to be executed by 3 people as per the Articles of Association, but it was only executed by 2 people. So, had the person who advanced the loan to the company read the Articles of Association of the company, they would have not accepted the bond, which is executed by 2 people. That's what the High Court held, and they held that the bond is invalid. Okay, so this was bringing quite a lot of hardship to the people. Alright, please take 2 or 3 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Please take another minute, go through this carefully. Any questions, please ask me. Please take about 30 seconds more. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Okay, go through this slide as well. Take about a minute. Take about a minute, go through this. This is the conclusion about the Kota Venkataswamy versus Ramurthy case. Any questions, please ask me. Okay. The criticism of doctrine of constructive liability, evolution of doctrine of indoor management. So like I kept telling you, that the doctrine of indoor management evolved due to the criticism of the doctrine of constructive notice. Okay, let's now find out how. The rule of constructive notice has proved too inconvenient for business transactions, particularly where the directors or the other officers of the company were empowered under the articles to exercise certain powers, subject only to certain prior approvals or sanctions of the shareholders. Now, whether those sanctions and approvals had actually been obtained or not could not be ascertained because in real situations, the investors, vendors, creditors, and other outsiders could not dare to ask the directors in so many words about these sanctions having been obtained or to produce the relevant resolutions. Since there are no means to ascertain whether sanctions and approvals have been obtained before a certain officer exercises his powers, which as per articles can only be exercised subject to certain approvals, those dealing with the company can assume that if the directors or other officers are entering into those transactions, they would have obtained necessary sanctions. This is known as the doctrine of indoor management and was first laid down in the case of Royal British Bank versus Doctrine rule. This is also known as the Doctrine rule. Now see, the doctrine of constructive notice, there was a lot of criticism as the outsiders were not allowed or not supposed to know everything what happens internally. See, as per the Companies Act, there are certain powers that are given to the directors to do certain things, and then there are certain powers the directors do subject to the approval of the shareholders. Now, as an outsider, how will he know whether the shareholders have obtained the consent of whether the directors have obtained the consent of the shareholders or not? And because those are directors, those are senior people in the company, the outsiders dare not even ask them that have you obtained the consent of the shareholders. So this was a problem being faced by a lot of outsiders when they were dealing with the company, whether the internal rules and regulations and procedures of the company were being followed or not. So to avoid this or to address this issue, there was the evolution of the doctrine of indoor management in the case, there was the famous case of Royal British Bank versus Doctrine, and that is why the doctrine of indoor management is also known as the Doctrine rule. All right, please take about a minute, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Okay, please take about a minute or two, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Please take about a minute more, carefully go through this. Please take about 30 more seconds, go through this. Any questions you may have, please ask me. Now, this is the how the evolution of doctrine of indoor management happened. Please take about 30 seconds more. Let me know once you're done. Are we done? Okay, now let's have a discussion on the doctrine of indoor management. Under the Indian law relating to companies, a public company is managed by the board of directors, which is entrusted with the responsibility of managing the company in the most efficient and transparent manner. Like any company, the whole responsibility of running the company and managing the company is entrusted with the board of directors, who have the responsibility of managing the company. The doctrine of indoor management, popularly known as the Doctrine rule, initially rose from around 150 years ago in the context of doctrine of constructive notice. So from the doctrine of constructive notice did we get the doctrine of indoor management. The rule of doctrine of indoor management is opposed to the rule of constructive notice. The latter seeks to protect the company against the outsider, while the former seeks to protect the outsiders against the company. Like I told you, the doctrine of constructive notice aims to protect the company from the outsiders, whereas the doctrine of indoor management aims to protect the outsiders against the company. It is in no part the duty of the outsider to see that the company carries out the requisite internal proceedings regarding the meetings, the notice for the meetings, the quorum, the passing of resolutions, signing of documents. It is not the outsider's job to actually worry about whether the internal procedures of the company have been followed or not, as long as he is checking whether the company is carrying out the activities that it has been authorized by its memorandum of association. All right, please take about 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Please take a minute more. Any questions, please ask. Any questions? Please go through it carefully. Any questions, please ask. Take about 30 seconds more. Take a minute more. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Okay, it is important to note that the rule of constructive notice can be invoked by the company and it does not operate against the company. It operates against the person who has failed to inquire but does not operate in its favor. Okay, so like we discussed so far, the doctrine of constructive notice works for the company and against the outsider, whereas the doctrine of indoor management works for the outsider and against the company. Please take a minute, go through this. Any questions, please ask. Okay, now the rule of doctrine of indoor management has its genesis in the English case Royal British Bank versus Turquand, and that is why it is also known as the Turquand rule. In this case, the directors of the company were authorized by the articles to borrow on bonds such sums of money as should from time to time by a special resolution of a company in a general meeting be authorized to be borrowed. A bond under the seal of the company signed by two directors and the secretary was given by the directors to the plaintiff to secure the drawings on the current account without the authority of any such resolution. Then the Turquand sought to bind the company on the basis of the bond. Thus, the question arose whether the company was liable on that bond. The Court of Exchequer Chamber overruled all objections and held that the bond was binding on the company, as Turquand was entitled to assume that the resolution of the company in the general meeting had been passed. Okay. Now, please remember, all these resolutions of the company in general meeting and board meeting, all these are the internal procedures. Any outsiders, you and me, are not allowed to attend the general meeting or the board meeting, and also to check the minutes of those meetings. All right. So it's no way it's possible that you can find out whether the internal procedures and policies of the company have been followed or not. That is why the doctrine of indoor management, as started from the Royal British Bank versus Turquand case, came into existence. Please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask me. Please take a minute more. Any questions, please ask. Okay, now What are the exceptions to the doctrine of indoor management? So just like the doctrine of constructive notice had an exception, which is the doctrine of indoor management, similarly the doctrine of indoor management also had certain exceptions. The exceptions are knowledge of irregularity, negligence on part of the outsider, forgery, no knowledge of articles, and acts outside apparent authority. Okay, so these are the 5 exceptions to the doctrine of indoor management, which we will discuss as we go on now. Now, what it means is in these 5 cases, the doctrine of indoor management cannot be relied upon, or you cannot take the support of the doctrine of indoor management. Okay, so let's look at it. First is knowledge of irregularity. Where a person dealing with the company has actual or constructive notice of the irregularities as regards internal management, he cannot claim benefit under the rule of indoor management. The leading case is T.R. Pratt Bombay Limited versus E.D. Sassoon and Co. Limited. So, when any person who is dealing with the company has knowledge that the internal procedures and internal there is management, there is an irregularity, and then he goes ahead and does a transaction with the company, then in that case he cannot claim the benefit under rule of indoor management. Let's take an example or a case law. Company A lent money to Company B on mortgage of its assets. The procedure laid down in the articles for such transaction was not complied with. The director of the 2 companies were the same. It was held that in case the lender had notice of the irregularity and hence the mortgage was not binding. A transfer of shares in the company was approved by 2 directors. One of these directors was not validly appointed. The other was disqualified by reason of being transferee himself. These facts were known to the transferor. It was held that in the case the transfer was ineffective. So basically what it means is if there is any transaction that happens and the person, the outsider who's entering into a transaction with the company has knowledge of such an irregularity, then in that case he cannot rely on the doctrine of indoor management. Please take 10 seconds, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Okay, next, negligence on part of the outsider, where a person dealing with the company could discover the irregularity if he had made proper inquiries, he cannot claim the benefit of the rule of indoor management. The protection of the rule is also not available where the circumstances surrounding the contract are so suspicious so as to invite inquiry, and the outsider dealing with the company does not make proper inquiry. If, for example, an officer of the company purports to act outside the scope of his apparent authority, suspicion should arise and the outsider should make proper inquiry before entering into the contract with the company. So basically what it means is in case the outsider while dealing with the company, if he had any suspicion or if he had reasons to believe that the internal management of the company has not been performed properly, then he should have gone ahead and done an inquiry to convince or satisfy himself that the internal procedures have been complied with, and only then gone ahead with the transaction. If he fails to do so, then he cannot rely on the doctrine of indoor management. Then the next one comes forgery. The rule in Turkwan's case does not apply where a person relies upon a document that turns out to be a forged, since nothing can validate forgery. A company can never be held bound for forgeries committed by its officers. So, in case the company enters into a transaction with the outsider and the document has been forged by someone in the company, then whether it is doctrine of indoor management or constructive notice does not matter, because a forgery cannot be validated, and so that whole transaction is null and void. Okay, please take a minute, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, and the last exception is acts outside the apparent authority. If an officer of the company enters into a contract with a third party, and if the act of the officer is beyond the scope of his authority, the company is not bound. In such a case, the plaintiff cannot claim the protection of rule of indoor management simply because under the articles, the power to do an act could have been delegated to him. The plaintiff can sue the company only if the power to act has in fact been delegated to the officer with whom he has entered into the contract. So with this, we come to an end on the topic of doctrine of indoor management. Thank you so much. Please do not forget to use the code Prathik while making the payment for the Plus course to get an instant discount of 10% on your listed price. Thank you so much. Thank you so much thanks for being such a wonderful audience. My next special class starts in about 15 minutes from now, where we do MCQ questions on business economics for CA Foundation. I thank you and I request all of you to attend that session. Thank you. Good night and take care.